Turn your power on with the Turn Yourself On podcast so you remember who you are. I'm Marina J, and I'm a #1 best-selling author, psychic life coach and speaker who has helped thousands of people for over 24 years heal their life back to fabulous, because you are fabulous. Together, we're going to talk shadow work, emotional and metaphysical healing, and all things ascension. You can reach me at marinaj.net for my coaching, courses, and my #1 best-selling book, Turn Yourself On. Are you ready to turn yourself on? Let's begin. Your manifesting style when you were a kid is possibly stopping you from manifesting right now as the gorgeous adult that you are. So I got this download just recently and I wanted to share it with you. I haven't even had breakfast. I've had 2 glasses of lemon water and I'm like, right, let's just go. I've got a really big day today and I want to get this in before I start my day. So my voice is going to sound a little bit sleepy. And this download really came in and it's really, let's see if it resonates with you, right? Let's see if it's somewhere in you too, because I feel like it's in a lot of us. So if you, as a kid, right, as a child, just think back to when you were a kid and the way in which you manifested safety may have been to stay small and need less. So let me explain. Let's say as a kid, the attention that you often got was critical. In order to survive that, you are going to go small and perhaps you're going to shrink and give. So you're going to shrink your needs. You're going to give the adult, the parent, what they want, right? So you're going to adjust yourself to become what they want. You might people please, right? You might just be an incredible support and a help to them. And in doing so, you manifest exactly what you needed, right? Because it was survival as a kid. And what you manifested for yourself was safety. You were safe. You were safe from being critiqued. You were safe from being attacked. You were safe from being emotionally attacked. You were safe from drama suddenly being created. Let's say that you grew up and your parents were really argumentative, or let's say your siblings would always get into fights. You could avoid all of that by becoming a certain way, by changing your approach. And you're like, well, I tried speaking my truth. That didn't work. No one heard me. I got really upset. No one saw me. So you know what? It's easier if I just go small and sort of really neutral and don't do anything. And then I'm going to fly under the radar, right? Then I'm going to become invisible. And if I don't do anything, then I'm safe. Now, for a lot of us kids growing up, that's what we did. We did that at home. We did that at school, right? How many of you flew under the radar at school so you wouldn't be singled out and bullied, or you wouldn't be singled out by the teacher, or you wouldn't be made fun of, right? Easier and actually really clever. Because growing up, most of us, I think, didn't feel emotionally safe. Most of us weren't in families that had emotional maturity because it really wasn't a thing on our planet this century. This thing on our planet was to work hard and earn money. That was people's focus, to do well at school. It wasn't really about self-reflection, working through your emotions. Because when you can be with yourself, you can be with another. So if you grew up with a parent that didn't know how to be with their anger, they're going to get angry with you because it's got to go somewhere, right? So as a kid, we created what I call a safety style. So what was your safety style as a kid? If your safety style as a kid was to go small, right, was to shrink and give, right, so you gave to get safety, these are the overgivers and the under-receivers of today, right? If you shrank and gave, you're the under-receiver and overgiver of today. It's the same. So as a child, what happens is we go, okay, this works. This is going to keep me safe. And as an adult, you're scared that you're not going to earn enough money right now. Let's just say that that's your thing. Or you're scared that you're never going to meet anybody. Or you're scared that it's never going to happen for you. Right? And you know you need to take action. If your safety style as a child was to literally become invisible, to stop, to withdraw yourself, bring your energy from the outside world back into you, it's a very high possibility that you're doing this right now. It's a very high possibility that your safety style as a kid is now still your safety style. Have a look. When you're scared, what do? Do you focus and manifest like a ninja? Or do you actually go really neutral and nothingy and scared and stop and withdraw your energy inwards? If you're doing that, that's your safety style from a kid. And that's what you're still doing now. And that's why your manifesting style as a kid might be stopping you from manifesting now. So if we look at it, there would have been some kids growing up that did it differently. Some of those kids, when they felt like they were under attack, would have just gone really focused on what they wanted, wouldn't have let it go. It would have been all they could think about. And they would have just gone deeper and deeper and deeper into their world to create it. Almost like blocking out people, blocking out the attack, blocking out the constant interruptions or whatever was going on at home or at school. And they would have had that. So their safety style is to do the same now, right? When they're scared of, not earning money or not having money or being poor, or they're scared of not meeting somebody or whatever it is, right? Or a project goes wrong. Their safety style is to manifest like a ninja. So looking at that, right now, I'm going to say that is a portion of the population, but it's a smaller portion of the population, because, I feel especially like a lot of us grew up with parents that didn't know how to be with their feelings. So they would project them onto us or onto the outside world. And that's not emotionally safe, not for any of us. And there's no blame there. It's just fact, right? I can honestly say, out of the thousands of people I've coached, I don't think I've coached anybody that's had emotionally safe parents. I just don't think I have. So thinking about you, go back and go, right, did I shrink and give as a kid? Or did I shrink and escape as a kid, right? So maybe you escaped to get safety. You still shrank yourself, but instead of giving to get your safety, you escaped to get your safety, right? So then in this life, maybe you're an avoidant type person. So you avoid, right? So you think, maybe you think about what you want, but then you're going to be a big snacker and big TV watcher because you're going to avoid, right? Or you're going to create drama in your life to avoid. So however we dealt with fear as children, fearful situations that made us really fucking scared, how we dealt with them then, is this also how you're dealing with your stuff now? Are you petrified to move forward? Are you procrastinating? Do you know what you want to do and you are maybe cleaning the house, you're avoiding, right? You're totally avoiding what you actually need to do. And if you're a shrink and escaper, you're also gonna, in this adult incarnation, want to escape the big, in your mind, heavy conversations, because that's when you are going to get attacked, or that's when you are going to get controlled. If you grew up sort of in a situation, you grew up understanding that support was control, right? So support wasn't really support. It was a way of your parents controlling you and the outcome. You're not going to ask for help either. Your safety style as an adult is actually to do everything on your own, which is going to make manifesting much slower. So what if you change your safety style? What if your safety right now as an adult wasn't in not doing anything and going small? Because you're not being attacked right now, are you? You're not. Where's the attack coming from? You're in a different position, a completely different position. So if you can understand that you're not under attack, I mean, unless you are, right? You might be in a situation, but let's just say that you're not. Then instead of drawing your energy in to keep yourself safe, what if you right now imagined whatever color you are, right? So you might be silver and blue, your energy, right? This is like your energy signature. What color are you? Just pick a color right now. And imagine that you're going to send it out from the center of you out to the world, right? In a huge circle around you. You're going to do the exact opposite of what you did as a kid. And you're going to send that energy out. It's going to run through all of your projects out into the world. So you can be seen, you can be heard, and you can be cheered and revered. What if you did that instead? What if you changed your safety style? What if your safety style now was actually to be seen, to be heard, to reach everybody? What if your safety style was to infuse your energy into absolutely everything that you do? And what if your safety style was to speak up, to say it? Because you're not having that attack around you anymore. That's old school. That's the old school you grew up in. That's not this school now. You've done a lot of work on yourself. And so if you're finding that you're not manifesting, just notice, what have you been pulling through from your childhood into this moment that in your mind you're maybe unconsciously doing to keep yourself safe? Have you noticed that you've been doing that? And what if you did the absolute opposite? And what if you almost treated it as a story? So you're like, right, well, my old story, I did that. In my old story, right, I shrank and gave, right? That was my reaction. That was my response. That was my way of dealing with my childhood. But now, instead of shrinking and giving, I'm going to go big and receive. What if that is your new way of dealing with fearful situations for yourself? What if you did that instead? You go big, you're going to put your energy out there so you're seen and heard. And you're actually going to receive. You're going to allow support in. What if you had a completely different response to anything that's fearful in your life right now? I swear to the goddess, you're going to come out of this smelling like roses. Slight caveat with that too. Some kids grew up in families that were maybe narcissistic or one-sided, and instead of them shrinking and giving in order to stay safe, they go big and narky, right? They have huge needs, needy, they're always like the victim, and they end up becoming narcissists themselves, right? So we're talking about narcissistic families now. So if you grew up in a narcissistic family, it's interesting to look at how all the people responded to that energy in the family dynamic. So if you had that growing up, it's very likely that when you now have a fearful situation, something's making you really scared, you're going to be pretty extreme in your shrinking and giving, or your shrinking and escaping, right? Or whatever it is that you did. So that's like a little caveat, right? For families where it was narcissistic or somewhere on that scale, you're going to find that you're even more so that way. So what if this week we really focused on this, and every time we noticed ourselves shrinking in order to get invisible, we just went, nah, that's my old story. I'm not doing that anymore. Right? Because otherwise, who do all the people around me become? Right? They become my mom or my dad or my brother, my sister, my cousins, my teachers, my school friends, my caregivers, whoever. No, it's completely different. I've cleared and healed all of that. I know so many of you have. And if you haven't, cool, work through that too. And that's why I devoted a whole chapter of my book, Turn Yourself On, to stories, right? To our old story, our new story. If you need to really go deep with that, if you really want to nuke that this week, have a look at chapter 7. Becoming Your Own Best Friend is the name of the chapter. It will really allow you to fully step out of your old manifesting technique, your old story of how you should manifest, of what's the best way of manifesting for you, and into your new one that fits you, your new upgraded you, because you're upgraded, right? You've done all this work on yourself. So it's going to fit you. And that is how we manifest as these light workers, these beings that we were always born to be. This is almost like saying we're going to manifest in a way that is actually finally suiting who we really are, who we always really were. Literally, what if we took that beautiful energy and instead of drawing our energy in to manifest, because what are you manifesting really with doing that? Absolutely nothing, just more of the same. What if we realized that our safety style now was to be utterly ourselves out in the world, rocking our energy, living large, and actually doing what we couldn't do as children, which was really focusing, really going in deep with what we wanted to manifest for ourselves and create, really focusing without interruption, without interrupting ourselves, and going in deep and just getting it done, or just going in deep and healing it, whatever it is, or just absolutely being so, like having blinkers on as if you were a horse, being so blinkered that you're going, that's it, this is happening for me. What if we did that now? Because we weren't able to do it as a kid because the noise from the outside world was too loud. There was no room for us to do it, right? For so many of us, if we did that, it would have been like suicide. It would have been so difficult in the families that we were in, right? Because these families didn't allow for that. It was literally survival. There was no room for that, right? We would have been vulnerable to attack. We weren't watchful enough for attack, right? If you're so in yourself, who's protecting you? You can't. This is the logic, obviously, of a child, right? You can't. Something has to be out there, right? Being on watch. If you're on watch, you're not totally in your own process. You can't be totally with yourself. So we learn to live a little bit outside of ourselves. We learn to not fully be with ourselves, to fully be loyal to ourselves, right? Being on watch is being loyal, but it's not really being loyal in terms of manifesting and getting what you want. So really looking at, okay, where now my manifesting style can I change that? Instead of maybe interrupting myself all the time, instead of maybe only allowing myself a certain amount of time per day to manifest, or I can't really get into it. Yeah, no wonder. Look at how you grew up. Look at what you had to do to stay safe. Maybe now you can finally give yourself this time because you're finally going to compartmentalize, because now you can. Now there's a difference between when you grew up and now. And now's our time, right? If you are a healer or you classify yourself as a light worker, starseed, whatever, we're at the start of a 20-year process. The 20-year process now is to help as many people on this planet rise up to become the power and light that they are. In order to do that, we've got to have a clear vision and we've got to manifest. If as a child, there was no room for it. There was constant interruption, there was constant drama, there was attack, there was critique, whatever. Okay, can you now see you're safe? It's not the same anymore. You are ready. Let's do this. Let's really manifest this week. Let's go headlong into what we always wanted to do as a kid and actually really, really focus and create. Let's have a different response to any fear that we're feeling right now. Because isn't this the ultimate in worthiness? All my love. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for turning yourself on with me. Please leave me a gorgeous review, which helps me to serve you. And come find me at marinaj.net for support and at marinaj coaching for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for glitter bombs of inspiration. Because you're not on your own. And if you have you by your side, you'll never be on your own again. Give yourself a big hug, wrap your arms around yourself, and thank yourself for all that you are as you give thanks for all that you are becoming.